Started off working at my mom's house, but I'm still stuck inside my mom's house. Dreaming about 10 bands when I walk it out. Then I wake up, boy, what you talking about? You ain't never gonna catch me slipping. Just wait until you see me winning. And I'ma tell you from the jump, I just hope you listen. Homie, wait until you see me winning.
What in the hell was John Currie thinking yesterday?
He wasn't thinking. That's what he was thinking. He wasn't.
This is Cover 2 Sports. I'm Chase Hope.
I'm Tex Armstreet.
And we're not blowing any coverages.
Unlike some collegiate programs.
So, first off, I'm sure everybody knows the news of where Greg Schiano reportedly was about to be finalized, and then all of a sudden, Tennessee backs out of the deal. But my biggest thing is after John Currie announces, Butch Jones has been fired, and he holds his press conference in front of the entire country, in front of the entire state of Tennessee, in front of the entire fan base, the boosters, he gets up on that podium and says, the next head coach of Tennessee football is going to have honesty, integrity, great character, and you go out and try to hire Schiano?
Schiano has all those things.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in my opinion, and I'm sorry I've never met the man, but in my opinion, anybody linked to the Jerry Sandusky incident who apparently witnessed and did not report it. Now, granted, I don't have, 100% factual proof, but if he's linked to it, I don't want him. Don't touch him.
I mean, I think any fan base that's any program, not necessarily a fan base, but any program that wants a good hire. I'm not saying the man couldn't do a good job, but you just want to stay. It's kind of like the whole Colin Kaepernick thing in the NFL. There's certain media things that come along with a person's job, and hiring someone who was even linked to that, whether he had an instrumental part in it or not, just him being linked to it would not be a good decision for Tennessee because of all the media that's going to come with it. They're going to ask him, okay, well, how are you going to do this different than Penn State? All he's going to answer is Penn State questions for the first month that he's there.
Yeah.
And if anything, God forbid, anything goes wrong with Tennessee's locker room, with their morale, anything, the first person who's getting thrown on the bus is him.
Yep, and if you go back to his days with the Buccaneers, I mean, if you ask a lot of his players, they hated him. Go back to Rutgers, a lot of their players hated him.
And they've only just recently got past mediocrity, and he's been there for a decade.
Yeah, I mean, he coached at Rutgers for, I believe it was 11 years, and just towards the end of that, they start to become relevant. Yeah. And it's, good enough to get him a job to the NFL, and then he goes to the NFL, and he doesn't produce.
Nope.
And I loved what was painted on the rock on campus today. Wrong Bucks coach. I loved it. And
I think, a lot of people, Vols Twitter stopped the hiring, pretty much, And Vols Twitter, hate it or love it, it's a group of passionate people who care about their program. And with Tennessee being the most desperate vacancy for any organization in the NCAA, it's inexcusable for this to happen. Inexcusable. And people say that fans should not play a part. That's who buys the tickets. That's who shows up to the game. That is your team.
And I believe the fans, in this case, I believe it helped us dodge a bullet.
It did. I think that in a case like this, people say it's a bad look for Tennessee, yada, yada, yada. Look at expansion teams when they move and stuff like that in any major sport. Like when the Nashville was going to take away the Predators, the fans came out and was like, oh, I think not. And they told them, like, you're not taking our team. We're a hockey town. We're going to prove all y'all wrong. 6-7 years later, they're perennial powerhouses. They're playing for the Cup. They're predicted to go back to play for the Cup. All because the fans spoke up. Now, yeah. I don't think fans should make every single decision. Of course not.
No, not at all.
But when you have a guy who has as much controversy around him as Schiano does, you have to listen to fans. Because this is the thing. If someone is hungry and you offer them food and they're like, no, I don't want that food. Because, you say, oh, well, here, I'll give you some illegal meat or, something, whatever. They're not going to take it. They're hungry, but they're not that hungry. And that's the Tennessee fan. If the Tennessee fans, like I said earlier, their program is the most desperate program for a head coach in the NCAA. It's the most publicized one in the NCAA. And then they're going to get a coach and they say no. Maybe it's time to listen.
I feel like Tennessee fans have reached their boiling point. They go from being great in the 90s, and granted, that's 2 decades ago. They go from that, and they haven't been relevant. Honestly, they really haven't been relevant this entire decade. They had a good season last season, But at the same time, it's only 9 wins, and they're tired of being mediocrity. They're tired of just scraping to get to a bowl game. And this year, they have one of their worst seasons in program history. And another thing for John Currie is there's been so many rumors about John Gruden this and John Gruden that. I mean, the fan base's expectations are, we're getting a good coach. We're going to get a big name. You can't expect them to settle for Greg Schiano. And no other college is even pursuing him. I've not heard of him being linked to any other head coaching position. And another reason is we're in Tennessee. Now, not all South stereotypes are true, but there is one, and nobody's going to play a part in somebody linked to the whole Jerry Sandusky. It's baffling, and you know it's bad whenever our own state legislatures and state representatives are reaching out, calling the chancellor, calling UT administration. I mean, it's a bad look. It really is.
When you have the amount of people get involved, they got involved. I mean, what's that guy? Clay Travis?
Travis outkicked the coverage.
He put his kahunas on the table yesterday.
Yeah.
And put out Curry's personal phone number, his office phone number. And when you have someone, whether you like Clay Travis or not, he's still a professional reporter. You know what I'm saying? He's still good at what he does, and he still doesn't break the code of ethics.
Yeah, and he has one of the biggest sports shows, radio shows in the country.
Yeah, exactly. And when he called for Curry yesterday. He was like, "I'm coming for you." You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of it, and he put that number out as a desperation call to get Curry to notice.
Yeah.
That people weren't going to put up with bad decisions. And I think, and to be honest, Tennessee, you can argue their wins, you can argue their bowl game, whatever. They have not been relevant since the year after Peyton left.
And I truly believe that volunteer football fans are the most dedicated fans in any sport, because they have not been good. They have not been good, and yet they're still consistently selling out Neyland Stadium that seats 102,000 plus every Saturday. And then they reach their boiling point, and they torpedo. They are the ones that stop this hire.
Now, what do you have to say for people who come out and say that Vols fans cost a man a job, and y'all don't know him?
Oh, in my opinion, I mean, he can get over it. He's still getting paid from Ohio State. He's made more money in his career than majority of people make their entire lives. I promise you, Greg Schiano is okay. I mean, it's not like he's hurting for money. It's not like he's struggling to pay bills. And if he is, that's his own poor investments. You know, that's his fault. True. He's still getting paid from Ohio State.
True.
I'm sure there's going to be other colleges. I'm sure there will be colleges that will come out and contact him. Like Arizona State's looking for a coach.
Tennessee Tech, look for a head coach.
Yeah, I mean, right here in Cookeville, Tennessee Tech. I mean, hey, Schiano, come on down. I mean, I'd rather you not, but hey.
We'll take what we can get at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's going to have other offers come along. And, I mean, he's the defensive coordinator at the Ohio State. Guys are acting like we just took away his last meal.
Yeah.
He's okay.
Yeah, I think and there's been people on Twitter who say that it was an embarrassment for the Vols organization to let fans make a decision. Listen, fans can make decisions, like I said earlier. If Curry wanted to hire the man, he would have hired him. The fact that Curry listened to the fans, and the fact that Curry even took that part of the decision into the actual decision making, means that he had his own like second thoughts about the deal. You know? And it means that he had his own, like, he was thinking, okay, well, this is good, but I have doubts. And then when Vols Twitter lit everything on fire, he was like, well, maybe we should back off a little bit. You know, and I don't like the Vols. I'm not a Vols fan, but I think it was great what happened yesterday.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Tex. I was sitting at work. I was at my little desk. You know, I was working my ass off, and I get the alert that says Tennessee reportedly finalizing deal with Greg Schiano, and I went ballistic. I stopped everything what I was doing. I get on Twitter, and I go off. And I'm not going to lie. If that deal got done, I was done. You would not catch me watching a game next year. I put it on my soul, put it on my grave, put it on my life. I was going to be done because...
# free agent fan?
No, I'm not. I wasn't going to root for any other team. But, I mean, honestly, I felt like Vanderbilt fans were blessed. Because they're used to mediocrity. They're used to, I mean, they make a bowl game. I mean, it's great. It's a big party.
Yeah, for sure.
And as a Tennessee fan, I was born in '96, so I don't remember the 1998 national championship. And so pretty much my whole life's been a dumpster. I mean, as far as Tennessee football, my entire life is the dumpster. And like we were talking earlier, it is the dumpster.
It is.
It's no longer in the dumpster; it's the dumpster. But there are several coaching candidates still available that Tennessee could grab and help turn this around and help us return to hopefully our glory days.
Lane Kiffin, T. Martin. That's who it is for me.
Yeah, I would love to get Lane Kiffin, and I would love to have T. Martin come.
Because here's the thing: people will say that Kiffin burned bridges or whatever, but you're telling me a Tennessee fan wouldn't welcome that man back?
I think Tennessee fans. I'm sure there's probably quite a bit that it'd be hard for them to grasp. But at the end of the day, they swallow their pride and say, you know what? We're about to go out there and win some games.
I tell you what, Lane Kiffin comes back. Lane Kiffin wins 9 games, 10 games, gets you to a bowl game. You're telling me fans wouldn't be like, I kind of don't like him, but I like winning.
Yeah, I was talking to a buddy of mine a few weeks ago. His name's Jason Grider. He's a big guy here in Cookeville on 106.9 Kicks Country. One of the biggest Tennessee fans I've ever met. And we were talking. He told me he could get behind Lane Kiffin.
Yep.
Who couldn't? I mean, we go from Dooley.
You can get behind winning.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Lane Kiffin might have sparked the whole Dooley hire and then Butch Jones. But you know what? At the end of the day, Lane Kiffin could come back and win us ball games. And if we're able to bring T. Martin along with that, I mean, if Lane Kiffin ever left again, which I very seriously doubt he would, T. Martin, man, promote him.
It's the perfect wedding.
But other candidates available, I mean, there's still Mike Leach, who doesn't recruit well, but he's an offensive genius.
But I mean, you can get, even with guys, head coaches that don't recruit well, you can always get your boosters involved. You can get all those guys. As long as you have a support system that helps you recruit, you'll be fine.
Yeah. And, I mean, Jeff Brom at Purdue, I'm not high on him, but at the end of the day, he could maybe come, weather the storm, put a good season here or there, help rebuild this foundation, and then you move on. But another guy I feel like, honestly, I don't think it's a home run hire, but I could get behind 100%. It's Kevin Sumlin. He's been at A&M. He was in the West, which is obviously the toughest division in the SEC. He doesn't have a great SEC record, but I feel like the experience and all that, he could weather the storm for a few years.
Well, you also have to look at some of the talent that he would be getting. You know what I'm saying? Some of the stuff that he would automatically have access to. Going to a somewhat bigger program in Tennessee. And how many of his recruits that were coming to A&M would flip to Tennessee? Because at the end of the day, they recruited to they committed to Kevin Sumlin. They didn't commit to A&M. Mm-hmm.
And then agree. right here in the state, man, we could go after Mike Norvell, who's led Memphis to a great season. Is he riding the coattails of Justin Fuente? Who knows? Give the man a shot. Yeah, I'd take him over Schiano any day.
I mean, at this point, it's really whoever. In my opinion, right now, it's not who can be the greatest coach. It's who can win more ball games than Butch Jones.
Yeah, and another dark horse, man, is I haven't heard much about him, and I know really nobody else has. It's Chad Morris from SMU. He's taken a dead SMU program, and he's moved them forward. He's gone from winning 2 games to 5 to 7 this year. And he was also the offensive coordinator at Clemson.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's not a bad candidate as well. But who I want Lane Kiffin.
I think that's the best. If you can, because I don't think there's going to be a lot of convincing that would need to be had bringing Kiffin back. I think it's just kind of like, hey, man, we like you back. Kiffin's going to be like, do I still get to be funny? Do I still get to do what I want to do?
And they'll say go for it.
John Curry's going to be like, yeah.
I mean,
within the realm of the NCAA rules,
yeah,
you got it. And then I don't think anybody would love the job as much as Kiffin would.
The entire fan base needs to jump on the Lane train, let him come back, finish what he started. I mean, the guy made Jonathan Crompton, who was our quarterback at the time, made him look like a freaking superstar. You mean to tell me he couldn't make Jarrett Garantano look like a top overall draft pick?
I feel you. There's a lot that he could do for that program.
There's so much, man.
And it's just a good head coach is vital, is very vital to a program, and if you don't have a good head coach, you don't have a program.
Yeah.
Look at what's going on in the NFL right now. Head coaching is Bill Belichick has been the best. Bill Belichick has been the best coach in the NFL. Love him or hate him, results produce. You know what I'm saying? You got Mike Tomlin. Look what he's doing with the Steelers. You know what I'm saying? And then you got I can't remember his name, the Eagles head coach. He's got them at 10-1. You know what I'm saying? Like, the head coaching rules. And if you can get a good coach.
Look at Sean McVay at the Rams.
That's what I'm saying.
8-3.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you take talent. Jared Goff has turned it around, and it's just you have to. So I understand Tennessee's point of wanting a good coach, and with all these NFL teams and all these other NCAA teams like Alabama, they have security in Saban, and stuff like that. A coach plays a vital part in winning ball games, because if you can't have someone you can depend on, then you have nobody. You know what I'm saying? And actually, let me go off topic here for a bit. Speaking about dependency, how good is Antonio Brown?
Man, I'm probably going to catch heat for this, but in my opinion, Antonio Brown's making a case to be the greatest receiver of all time. And yes, that means he's better than Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens, Randy Moss, whoever else you want to throw at him. Antonio Brown is a freak of nature, comes out of college. I mean, he wasn't even projected to become a superstar. And here he is, best receiver in the league.
He doesn't even he's only like 5'10". He doesn't have the makeup.
No, but he has the speed, he has the hands. He runs the best routes in all of football.
Last night, in under 30 seconds, he made 2 catches to put the Steelers within field goal range that eventually won them the ball game.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm going down the field and I'm dependent on one receiver to get open out of anybody in history, give me AB.
Maybe not even open, just to be able to catch the jump ball.
Give me AB.
Double coverage, AB.
I mean, now, Randy Moss for a deep jump ball, okay, it'd be close because he's taller, he can get up higher, but I have faith either one of those guys will come down with it.
So, Antonio Brown has only played for, 8 years, okay? And including this year, this will be a full season at the end of the season. This season, he already has, where was it? He already has 80 receptions. 80 receptions. And we're not even done with the season. Okay?
No, I mean, that's a lot. And here's why Jerry Rice is not the best receiver of all time. Everybody makes the argument he's the best of all time. He's not.
Okay.
He is not the best receiver of all time. Does he have the greatest hands? Yes. But does hands make you the best receiver? In my opinion, no.
I think before you even go any further, now the argument can be had, because I'm about to tell you why you're wrong. Jerry Rice's preparation is what makes him the greatest receiver of all time.
I don't care how a man prepares. He
won a Super Bowl, and 3 days later was at the 49ers facility running routes and catching passes.
Good.
He told. There's a story Michael Irvin tells. Okay, they lose to the Cowboys, as they often did, and then 2 days later they lose in the playoffs to the Cowboys, and 2 days later they go to the Pro Bowl. Right. Jerry Rice comes up to Michael Irvin. You know what he says? I've already been practicing. You beat me out this year. I'm coming out better next year. 2 days after losing.
Here's the thing. I don't care how good your work ethic is. That doesn't automatically make you the best receiver all time. But here's my reason for Jerry Rice not being. His stats are padded. He played 20 seasons. Right here on NFL.com, played 20 seasons. He has 1,549 catches for 22,895 yards and 197 touchdowns in 20 seasons. Antonio Brown's already halfway there, and he's played not even half the amount of seasons. He already has half the yards, almost half the receptions. Antonio Brown's a freak of nature, and when it's all said and done, if he's not the greatest receiver of all time, he's going to be right up there. It'll be 1A, 1B. I don't get the argument. I'm not saying anything to discredit. I'm not discrediting Jerry Rice. He's one of the greatest of all time. He's one of the greatest, but he's not the greatest.
I'll tell you why he is the greatest.
He's not.
I'll tell you why he's not. I'll tell you why he's the greatest right here. I'm looking right now at regular season games played.
Yeah.
Okay. Jerry Rice has played 303 regular season games.
Yeah, 300 games.
Okay. Do you know who the 6 in front of him, what position they played? Kicker or punter.
Good.
The next closest.
At the end of the day, he played 20 seasons. 20 seasons.
So someone who catches
20 seasons, Tex.
Someone who catches the ball for 20 seasons at the highest rate You're telling me they're not one of the greatest receivers ever?
I'm saying he's
He
one of
is
the
the
greatest.
GOAT.
He is one of the greatest.
He is so good. When he was a child, he caught bricks.
It's not my fault that his dad was a bricklayer, okay?
Okay, but he caught bricks. That's what he wanted to do to get better. He caught bricks. What? Listen to, if you watch any video of this man catching the ball, do you hear him catching the ball? No, you don't.
Like
He is
I said, hands.
GOAT, greatest of all time receiver.
Nope.
Antonio Brown
Nope.
will have better stats, probably so by the end of his season or by the end of his career, if he can stay healthy. If he can stay healthy. But if you're going to tell me that Jerry Rice, 20-year Jerry Rice, that some guy who's, how many seasons he played? 7, 8 seasons, Antonio Brown? If you're telling me already, this man,
Antonio Brown's in his 8th season.
not even playing half the career that Jerry Rice has, is better, that's asinine. You're out of your damn mind.
You're ridiculous. We've only played 11 games this season, and Antonio Brown's already got over 1,000 yards. He's already got over 1,100 yards. He has 8 touchdowns.
If Jerry Rice had the gloves that Antonio Brown has now,
Oh, God.
he would have been catching 150 passes.
But
this
here's the
season.
thing, man. Jerry Rice didn't have the gloves that Antonio
And he
Brown
still
has
did
now.
what he did.
He also had Joe Montana.
Have you
Ben Roethlisberger's a good quarterback, but he cannot hold Joe Montana's jog strap. He cannot do it. If you even make an argument here, all your points to me go down the drain. I mean,
have you ever tried on a receiver's glove that plays now?
yeah,
I have some at home. I stick my hands together. You can't even pull them apart.
good,
It's like having super glue.
good.
And Jerry Rice, God, I cannot believe you were saying Jerry Rice is not the greatest receiver of all time.
He's not.
Michael Irvin, Larry Fitzgerald, if you watch his football life, people like Michael Irvin, Larry Fitzgerald, some of the greatest receivers of their time, say that hands down, no doubt that he is the best receiver. Chris Carter.
Hey, here's the
Chris
thing.
Carter.
Here's the thing.
Chris Carter. Arguably the second best receiver of all time. Chris Carter.
Second best?
Second best hands? Come on now. Come on now.
Oh, my God.
Come on now.
No, you didn't say hands. You said
Okay,
best
that's what I meant.
receiver.
Second best hands of all time, right? He says that Jerry Rice is the best receiver and has the best hands.
Can I tell you something, though?
No.
A lot of people don't want to pass the torch. A lot of people from the old days don't want to pass the torch and give credit. Right now, I'll take Randy Moss or T.O. over Jerry Rice. In today's NFL, give them to me. Give them to me.
You are out of your mind.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Just because they don't play 20 seasons doesn't mean they're not better than Jerry Rice. Tex, you go out there and play 20 seasons, you could have got 50 touchdowns.
God. Listen.
And neither one of us have the physicality, the capabilities,
for yourself.
or the speed
You speak for
of
yourself.
Jerry Rice.
I ran a 5-0.
I'm just saying.
Listen.
You give me 20 years in the league. You give me 20 years in the league, I'll at least have 50 touchdowns.
In the
God.
in the game that we play now, where the deep ball is more of a threat than it's ever been, you're telling me Jerry Rice's numbers wouldn't have been even more. If Jerry Rice plays 20 years from say 1996 to 2000 up until 2016, with how the quarterbacks air the ball out, now they're bigger, they're stronger, there would be no argument that he's the greatest receiver of all time. And there still isn't.
There is.
He hasn't even played. He has played 8 seasons.
When Antonio Brown is done, he's going to be the greatest receiver of all time. There's not going to be a debate. There will not be a debate.
So how are you going to tell me he's going to stay healthy and play for 20 seasons?
I can't. But that's in my mind right now. Take them both in their primes. Give me a B. Give me a B.
I can't listen.
Dude, no, I'm not
He
taking
may not.
Antonio Brown can run the best routes ever. Ever. He's the best route runner I've ever seen.
Have you seen number 11 in Atlanta?
Yeah, I've seen Julio Jones. Julio Jones can't stay on the field enough for me.
Julio Jones has 3 games of 250 yards.
Good. It doesn't
No
matter.
other receiver has more than one of those games.
The best ability is availability. Give me somebody who's going to be out there for all 16.
I can't believe. Listen, I'll give you a B over Julio. There is no way. He can't even hold Jerry Rice's jockstrap, as you said.
Yeah, he can.
He
puts it on, straps it up, and goes
He
out to
probably
work.
puts it on his nose to try to sniff greatness.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
He puts it on, and then he goes to work, says, hey, Jerry, figured I'd give you some extra skill.
Listen.
The man is not even 5'10", and he does what he does, and you're gonna sit here and say, come on, Tex. I did not say right now he's the greatest, but right now he's already solidified as one of the greatest already.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right. So what makes you be so positive that when it's all said and done and he retires, he's not going to be the greatest?
Talk to anybody. Listen, talk to anybody who's ever played against Jerry Rice. Talk to the guys who played like Tom Brady, who've been around Rice in the game. Talk to guys like Big Ben, all that type of stuff. I guarantee you, who are they going to say? Jerry Rice.
I doubt it.
But anyways,
Big Ben is not going to say Jerry Rice.
You can't talk about dominance, okay? But you know who can talk about... I'm done with this conversation. But you know who can talk about dominance?
Who?
The Eagles.
The Eagles, yep. They're so
10-1.
dominant. Yep, 10-1.
But...
Who have they played?
Exactly.
Who have they played?
They have not played...
Their best wins against the Los Angeles Chargers.
And
the Chargers.
And listen, they're a good team. Don't get me wrong, okay? They're a great team. But with the strength of schedule that they've already played versus who they're going to play, they're like, so let's see, their closest game, like you said, was the Chargers. They only won by 2 points. They almost lost to New York, okay? The only opponent they had... That right
there, almost getting beat to New York.
Exactly, and this is the thing. And Wentz only had 176 passing yards that game.
Yeah, and I know people's going to say, are you kidding me? You think the best team they played is the Chargers when they played Carolina? I think the Chargers would beat Carolina.
Carolina's not that good. Carolina is going to flame out. They've gotten lucky, is what Carolina's done.
Yep.
And so, and they still almost lost. They were only one possession away from losing against Carolina as well. Like, none of their games except for San Fran, Denver, and then Dallas and Chicago recently have been blowouts. Every other game was close. You know what I'm saying? And the only team they played was Kansas City, and they lost.
And now Kansas City is not even what they were.
Exactly.
Kansas City was the hottest team to start the year.
And so the rest of the season, they play Seattle. They play the Rams, who they might lose to.
Oh, they will lose.
They play New York, Oakland, and Dallas. Zeke will probably be back by the time they play Dallas, so it might be a little bit of a closer game. Oakland has not been Oakland at all. They're not doing what everybody thought they were going to do.
Beast mode. I told everybody for the year, Marshawn Lynch is not going to be able to come out from not playing pretty much 2 years to just being dominant again.
In New York, they're going to win 2, maybe 3 ball games. Maybe.
Is this the year they just draft Eli's successor?
They should.
I believe so.
They should. Eli should ride off into the sunset, go somewhere else.
Yep.
And they're going to play Seattle. They play Seattle next week. And if Seattle's Legion of Boom is still there, because Chancellor just announced he was out for the season with a net, and Sherman knew as soon as it happened that he ruptured his Achilles. That's not the Seattle is like they crumbled. They're gone. They're done. They're not making the playoffs. They may make the playoffs, but they're not going anywhere. They're getting a first round exit. They're not doing anything because Russell Wilson can only mask Richard Sherman and Cam Chancellor being gone for so long.
And they don't have a good enough run game.
They don't. It's kind of like it's kind of like the Texans quarterback situation. It's a rotating door. You know what I'm saying? And they don't have somebody they can just plug in and be like, bam, here we go.
Now, I know injuries have killed him. Chris Carson's looking like he comes on looking like he's going to be the guy who gets hurt. Kind of like Thomas Rawls a few years ago. And ever since Thomas Rawls broke his leg, he's not the same.
He's not the same. He's not as dominant as he used to be.
No.
And so, if you're telling me the Eagles are going to make the playoffs, there's no doubt about it. They're going to go to the playoffs. They're probably going to beat whoever they're playing in the first round. They're not going to the Super Bowl. Everybody's like, oh, they're going to the Super Bowl. They're doing this. They're not going to the Super Bowl.
No.
Because when you have to go up against teams that they have to play, you know what I'm saying? In a playoff atmosphere where everybody has a brand new record, people are more than likely healthy, and you got time to prep. There's no way. I don't see them now. I wish they would prove me wrong because it'd be fun to see the Eagles and Carson Wentz, somebody named Carson, win the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But I don't know if they do it because their wins are good. But they haven't convinced me.
If the Eagles won the Super Bowl, I can already see the headline. Carson Wentz came, Wentz conquered.
Yeah.
You know,
something like that.
He went.
Carson wins. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Something like, because people say Carson Palmer should have won the Super Bowl. And some people say that somebody named Carson will never win the Super Bowl. And I'm not saying they can't win it. I'm not convinced. Their record doesn't show that they're a powerhouse.
But, I mean, looking ahead to their next game against Seattle, man. I mean, talk about Seattle having, arguably one of the best defenses ever.
Not anymore.
I think the Legion of Boom's window's closing fast.
It's done.
It might already be closed.
I think they are still scary.
Yeah, when healthy. It's...
And like I said, I always love throwing my Texans in there. Deshaun Watson threw for 400 yards on that defense. You're telling me
a rookie
comes into town on arguably the best and most scary defense, and he puts up 400 yards and almost beats them? You know what I'm saying? Like, the Legion of Boom, they had their time. They capitalized on it one time, and that's it.
And they should have again, but you throw the football at the 1 yard line when you have beast mode.
Marshawn Lynch should have one more rush, one more yard on his rushing attempts and yardage for the playoffs. Period. You know what I'm saying? And
it's first down. You give the man 3 tries to get in there, he's in. Quarterback sneak, you're in.
I don't understand how you throw the ball and you've got 3 downs left to play.
I'll never understand.
You throw the ball on 4th down. You're in the Super Bowl.
Even you could have done. There's no way you go backwards on a quarterback sneak. You have the ball at the 1 yard line. You can get 3 feet with 3 quarterback sneaks.
And you're telling me, Marshawn, here's the promised land. And you're telling me in 3 tries he doesn't get in? There's no way on God's green earth Marshawn doesn't grab his crotch and get in that end zone. There's no way.
He would nut it up and get it in there.
Exactly. He would force his way in like he did when he played everybody else.
Even back when he had that whole hernia, the hernia, he would have got in there with the hernia, man.
Yeah, and your defense takes you so far. You know what I'm saying? Defense wins championships, yada, yada, yada. Seattle needs to start looking elsewhere. Cam Chancellor may be able to come back because it's only a neck. He can probably play a couple more
But I don't think Sherman's going to be the same. I still think he'll be good, but he's not going to have the speed.
A torn Achilles, and he may be able to build the speed back up once, like maybe after a year or two. But when he comes back next year, he's not going to be the same. He's still going to be rehabbing the injury. He's still going to be a little timid. It's going to mess up his, like we were talking about last podcast. It's going to mess up his psyche.
Yep.
He's not going to trust it. It'd been bothering him all season. He was playing on it, and then finally it goes and it gives. And he knew, it's like, yeah, it's my Achilles, it's torn. The Legion of Boom is no more. And they, like I said, the Seahawks, they need to look elsewhere to get defensive help. I don't know if they need to sign people, they need to draft them, but they can no longer depend on them. And it's kind of sad, to be honest, because I love watching the Legion of Boom play. And to see them go down so, not mysterious, I don't want to say mysterious, but just to see them go down, you know what I'm saying? It just kind of, it's just sad as a football fan. Like when Deshaun Watson went down, it's just sad. You know what I'm saying? And I don't understand how people think that Seattle's still going to win the championship or even going to get to the championship game.
Yep, and with guys with Seattle throwing the ball at the 1 and pretty much giving their prize away, I feel like this is a great time to tell you, y'all still have a week to enter for a chance to win our big prize. We still have the Texans jerseys up for grabs. You just got to go to our social media. Who doesn't want a free Jadeveon Clowney jersey?
For sure, and like I said, and even if you just retweet and follow us on Twitter, and you like it and share it on Facebook, or like our page and share it on Facebook, you're in there.
Yep, you get the word out, man. We'll put you in the running. But Tex, I know it's way too early, but who do you think is going to win the NFL's big prize this year?
I don't know who's going to win.
Well, who do you think is going to be in the big Super Bowl, the big game?
Pittsburgh, Minnesota.
Yep. Just like that.
Just like that.
Man.
Because here's the thing. I've seen Case Keenum play when he was with the Texans, and he was good. He didn't get his due there. He was young. Bill O'Brien still didn't, whatever. Case Keenum's good. They arguably have the best backup quarterback in the league, not named Jimmy G, who may not be the starter. But Terry Bridgewater comes back. He's electric. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'd like to see him get out there. I don't want to see him take Case's job, but I'd like to see what he's got. Come sure. Week 17, maybe they'll throw him out there.
Well, I mean, even doing running like a 2 QB offense. You know what I'm saying? You put Bridgewater.
Whatever it takes.
That's what I'm saying. You put Bridgewater in there when you got to run a couple plays. Maybe you run a
triple option,
a wildcat or triple option, something like that. You know what I'm saying? A power to the right, something. Give him some time. Hell, even put him in there as a running back, maybe a receiver, just to kind of get him back acclimated with playing. And then I'm not even going to start on Vikings defense. They're great.
I mean, Xavier Rhodes is arguably the best corner in football right now.
You know what I'm saying? And their receivers, they just had Thielen. I never know how to pronounce
Adam
his name.
Thielen.
Yeah. He just passed 1,000 yards. First receiver in Vikings since 2009 to do that. Their team is set up to win. You're telling me your guy Bradford goes down. You get Bridgewater back, and Case Keenum is playing out of his mind right now.
Yeah, and could you only imagine if Dalvin Cook was able to stay healthy with the season he was having? But with my picks, I'm going a totally different route. For the AFC, I feel like it's going to be the Patriots. It's going to come down in the AFC Championship game. It's going to be the Patriots against the Steelers. That's what it's going to be, and I just feel like Tom Brady's going to put all his experience, he won the Super Bowl last year, and he still has naysayers, he's about to hit the window. I mean, after his first game against Kansas City, everybody thought he was done. Come on, it's Tom Brady. I'm not sure if this man has a window. I don't know if he has a wall to hit. And then, I feel like this is completely going to be a shock. But the job Sean McVay has done with these Rams, I feel like they're going to be representing the NFC in this Super Bowl. And honestly, in my opinion, in that NFC Championship game, I feel like it'll be between the Rams and the Vikings, depending on how the seeds fall, if they don't have to face each other before. Because this Rams team, man, I just feel like they're built for success. They have Jared Goff. Man, he's playing out of his mind right now. Have one of the best running backs in the league with Todd Gurley. You've got weapons to throw to. You've got Sammy Watkins. You've got a Robert Woods when healthy. So you can throw Tavon Austin in there, and they have a legitimate defense, man.
So you're telling me the Rams
8-3
are gonna hop the Saints, the Vikings, and the Eagles?
I feel like the Saints are pretenders. Their defense has been lights out, but I feel like they got exposed by the Rams. Now, granted, Marshawn Lattimore's out, but he's a rookie. I'm not sure how rookies are going to perform in the big stage. And another thing is if you take away the passing game, Jared Goff can beat you with his legs. Todd Gurley can run you over. They're built for playoff football.
I do not. They may be able to take the Saints, okay? I'll give you that. They may be able to take the Saints. There's no way they're getting the Vikings and the Eagles. What I said earlier about the Eagles, I don't know if they're going to make it to Super Bowl or not, whatever.
Well, we'll find out. We'll find out how the Rams match up against the Eagles here in a couple weeks.
But playoff is a different atmosphere.
Definitely is, and that's why the Rams are going to win it. So, and they're going to bring so much excitement to LA for having football back.
I can't wait for the Rams to get thrown out in the first round.
Dude, I think Sean McVay's done a hell of a job.
I'm not
not
disagreeing with you. I don't think that they're not going to make the playoffs or whatever. But I just don't think they're there yet. I think they're 1 year away.
They may be 1 year away, but I can see them going out and grabbing it now. You're not going to convince me they're not contenders.
No, I'm not saying they're not, but they're not going to get there. They're definitely contenders. But
I guess we'll see.
You're going to tell me Case Keenum and the receivers they've got in the defense, they're going to get past them. And then you're going to tell me that because if the Eagles, I'm going to tell you this right now, if the Eagles go to the playoffs and they win that first game and they look good, that's it. They're taking it.
Here's my thing with Philadelphia sports is specifically the Eagles, because the Phillies, they've won some rings with, great Roy Halladay, Cliff Lee. But with the Eagles, man, they seem to choke. Look back to when they were in the Super Bowl last time with Donovan McNabb.
But in this year, they're
I know it's a different year.
It doubles. They don't have any competition. The Cowboys aren't the big bad Cowboys anymore. You know what I'm saying?
But that could hurt them come playoffs.
I don't think it will. I don't think it'll hurt them that first round. I definitely don't. Because if they go up against the Vikings, I think the Vikings might take it. But here's the thing: Carson Wentz, and like I said earlier, I don't think they're going to the Super Bowl, but Carson Wentz will be the end-all, be-all of their season.
Yeah.
He is the intangible X factor.
And I know you're trying to make a case, talking about the Rams ain't going to get past the Vikings. And, I mean, I can see that going either way. I mean, what's the chances the Vikings get past the Rams?
High, because they will.
I don't think so, man. I think the Rams are a much scarier team, and the fact coming into this season, nobody expected much out of them. They've played with a chip on that shoulder all year. And I know, like you like to say, they're not going to be eating that chip soon.
No.
I feel like
eating that chip soon.
The Rams, they're not eating that chip anytime soon.
Yeah, but
and you got to think, Jared Goff. Everybody was calling him a bust, and he comes out this year and is playing lights out. Lights out. I feel like if the Rams and Vikings match up in the NFC Championship game, that's going to be one of the greatest football games ever. And good news for the Vikings, they don't have Blair Walsh to miss the game-winning field goal. So,
I will say this: the Rams have a good chance to succeed, but they're not winning.
I guess we'll find out.
I'm still picking the Eagles and the Vikings.
I guess we'll find out on our birthday, Tex.
The Super Bowl sometimes it's always that weekend of our birthday.
It's the first Sunday
of February,
which is our birthday.
Is it on Sunday this year?
Yes, sir. February 4th.
Interesting. All right, well, I'll tell you what, we'll make another little deal then. I still got to take you out for dinner. I'm still a man of my word. If the Rams make it farther than the Vikings, I'll buy you dinner. If the Vikings make it farther than the Rams, you buy me dinner.
Sounds like a bet.
Sounds like a bet. We'll do that then.
All right, man. Well, guys, you've heard our Super Bowl predictions. You've heard the craziness at UT. You've heard who we both personally would like to see get the job.
You heard him talk about his asinine comment of saying Jerry Rice wasn't the greatest of all time.
He's not. Just make sure y'all enter the contest, guys. We're going to be announcing our jersey winners next week on December 4th. So y'all be looking for that. And thank y'all for listening. This is Cover 2 Sports. We never have blown coverage.
Never do.